My friends out here in the Western Pacific and Eastern Asia, there are a few areas in the Western Pacific I'm watching today. Actually, two little tropical troughs, one right around Palau, another one being deemed Invest 98W out here towards the southeast of Guam. Both of these are kind of interesting in their own rights. This one probably could become a tropical depression, or at least a low pressure area, bringing some increasing rainfall by the weekend across Visayas and Mindanao in here. And then this one, which a little more time to develop, but I think it's very far south, and a little bit of some things going against it here for its development, but still interesting to watch. Now, overall, all these are going to continue to move towards the west. And that is a solid thanks to the overall background flow here, with high pressure really dominating towards the south and east of Okinawa, keeping things just more or less pretty dry actually from Guam over towards Luzon, and the upward vertical motion really dominating from 10 degrees north there just towards the south. And this simply means that anything developing is just going to move due west. So that's why I say Mindanao and Visayas, the more likely scenarios for this increase in precipitation by the weekend and into next week. From Manila and much of northern Luzon, though, I would not anticipate much development there at all. Now, let's take a look at some of the model guidance, and let's talk about what could happen here in the future. Before I get into the model guidance, I do want to note that the Japan Meteorological Agency currently doesn't have anything here, but in their 48-hour forecast, so this takes it into the weekend, they actually do have a tropical depression, a very minor one, not a named storm or anything like that, developing towards the east of the Philippines. And this pretty much matches up with what the global forecasting system, the GFS model, is suggesting at this time. In fact, let's go ahead here. Let's take a look ahead into Saturday night through Sunday, and that's what I'm really indicating to you right here. And this is just showing kind of a little area of low pressure developing off of the coast of Mindanao, the max of the winds being towards the north, with a subtle basically breeze from the west coming on the southern periphery of it. And whenever you get something like that, that's basically telling me that this is going to be lopsided, with the bulk of the convection on the northern periphery, predominantly with the winds kind of interacting with the northeast monsoon and the high pressure towards the north. But nothing completely terrible, but it definitely would be an increase in rainfall, maybe even that chance of some flooding. In fact, let's take a look at the rainfall accumulation numbers here for the next 5 days. And we can go out and let's take a look at northern areas of Mindanao. And that's actually indicating upwards about 7.5, 8, maybe upwards of 9 inches for a few locations here as well. And off the coast, that's actually a lot of rain there too, all thanks to this system as it starts to work its way towards the west. Now, this is round one. There is that other guy I was talking about here, and really by Christmas Eve, so by Tuesday into Wednesday, this actually, according to the GFS on Tuesday right here, develops a system very close to Samar, maybe even southern Luzon. That's the GFS. The ECMWF, which I agree more so with, takes it more further towards the south, basically being buffeted by that high pressure towards the north. Both of these do agree that a system could develop, likely a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm. Very well, at least according to the Philippines, they named tropical depressions, so this probably could be our next named storm system the day prior to Christmas out here. I know that's the last thing people want to hear. Another big issue would be this would be the second system if the ECMWF does follow through, that could basically impact northern Mindanao and southern Visayas within the course of a week. And that means over the course of about 10 days, take a look at some of these rain totals. I mean, we're talking about some pretty high numbers out here. Of course, 10 to 11, maybe even 12 inches in a few locations. I know this is showing a little bit lower, but I think that, I mean, put it in millimeters, it's upwards about 500 millimeters. Definitely enough to cause some pretty significant flooding. But you can see on this rainfall accumulation, it really kind of leaves much of Luzon out of the realm of the heavier impacts, at least according to the ECMWF. Change it up with the GFS, a little more aggressive with that northerly track of their system. But the models are kind of split right now on exactly what it would develop, but I think that they are starting to agree more so on a Christmas time system. Not a full-on typhoon, but at least tropical depression or a tropical storm. I know about a week ago I made a weather update suggesting that Probably there wouldn't be much to talk about here around Christmas time, but I hate it when I have to go back. I think that there is still a lot of dry air filtering in. I think that there is still a lot of things working against this, but it does look like models are kind of catching up, and there is some of that convection beginning to flare up as well, as you can see here, just based on visible satellite with our first one and visible satellite with our second one way, way, way off here towards the east. So some time to watch it, but at the very least, coming into the weekend, an increase in the amount of precipitation will be starting to work its way in across the Philippines, especially the southern Philippines, increasing that threat of flooding. I'm going to have another update on this tomorrow. It's kind of interesting what we got going on here with these multiple invest areas coming from the southeast towards the northwest. So definitely keep on checking back in. Of course, do keep on checking in with Pegasi too, because they're going to still talk about this as well. Of course, as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them down there in the comment box below. I mean, that's the number one thing. I always appreciate your feedback. And yeah, as always, stay safe out there, everyone. Thanks for watching.